your boy. This is from last week's Drag Race. But your boy.
Oh, woo! He is so cute.
He got in.
The sticky, disgusting Tic Tacs.
I guess that was like 2 weeks ago, but.
3.
Bryce Ellenberg. Those two.
Bryce.
Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching Drag Race, Season 14, Episode 4.
She's a super tease.
She's a super tease. This was actually a pretty good episode.
I liked this one a lot.
I
usually get so much secondhand embarrassment over the acting
You
challenges.
were like, you battened down the hatches for the cringe factor.
I did.
And it didn't really happen.
No, it was not so bad. But I think we didn't have to watch them. No, like nobody, they didn't do an edit where one person is like stumbling.
Well, did they
play literal crickets?
But the thing is, I've watched so many of them now that I know that they kind of usually misdirect you with the acting part where you're watching it, because the editors almost always pull something out.
Of course.
Were they filming for 3 weeks straight?
There were costume changes.
There was so much footage.
So much. They because in order to make the actual trailers for the season, they have to have the footage from the entire season. So, like, how much extra did you do?
It's like the episode of Community where it's supposed to be a clip show, but it's all flashbacks to stuff that didn't happen.
To episodes in between stuff that we didn't see.
It was so funny. So there was 2 groups. It was the team captains were Willow and Maddie.
Yep.
They were solid captains.
Very good.
Willow's team was Cornbread, Lady Camden, Jasmine, Georges, and Carrie Colby. And Maddie's team was Deja, Angie, Daya, Alyssa, and Orion. And they basically had to do like a package, like a teaser commercial for like a
season of Drag Race.
I'm trying to think.
Because they kind of pulled inspiration from previous ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was like part reenactment, part like spoof and all that. They both were really good. I think the consensus is that Maddie's team was just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Nobody commented on it, but the thing for me from Willow's team is I actually thought Lady Camden stood out.
Yeah.
Nobody said anything, and I don't quite remember. I would need to watch it again to really dissect it, but I don't remember if she had like material, but her reactions were so on point, and she has such a good face for comedy. Lady Camden's a stealth fave of mine.
And I think that there's been a shakeup. There's been a shakeup because we both were right out of the gate. We were like, it's Cornbread's game to lose, and I kind of think she's losing now.
I don't think she's losing.
It's been a little bit of a struggle, and this was not amazing, and there was a lot of attitude.
Well, coupled, so that's what we started with, is there was this, like, we pick up where we left off last week with them sort of coming in, cleaning the mirror and all that, and Jasmine Kennedy goes on this weird monologue about how she almost could have gone home or something, she was weeping at a certain point, and she's very, I think she was 23. She's young. She's definitely a little bit self-centered, but these are things that can be worked on. What were you?
Yeah. So I agree, but also it's as if none of these drag queens have heard of social anxiety, because I agree that she's a little self-centered, but I also can see her getting the Laganja edit because we keep comparing her. And the other thing for me, I just like that for me reads more as social anxiety than like trying to be or like being self-centered, where she just is talking, because she even says it in the episode that it's because she doesn't like the silence. So she wants to fill up the silence.
Sure, I think it's definitely. I think
there's many things going into it.
I think that she's self-centered, and for me, self-centered isn't innately a major critique. It just means you focus on your your story. I mean, it's like I'm a little bit self-centered. Not the difference, but the point is, it's like you have to learn how to navigate that.
Yeah.
Like you learn, and it takes time. And so they like have this conversation because she was annoying them last week, and they kind of finally bring this to her attention. But I feel like, and especially Cornbread was irritated. She was irritated, like, and she'd been kind of like, okay.
The rest of them all were just like, this is something you maybe should work on. But Cornbread was like, you're doing it right now. And like, again, now. And now. And it was just too much for me.
It's the kind of thing that it's like, critique like that, like to process that level of feedback and to apply it to your life takes time.
Yeah.
It cannot happen in one afternoon.
Well, and especially because it started feeling like piling on with Cornbread after like a while, because she just kept.
Well, especially with the writing.
Because then Jasmine was like, well, what if we turn that into a joke? Like, I'm willing to fall on that sword. Like, why don't I just like yap, and then you guys interrupt me and say, I can't believe you're talking so much. And Corbin was like, are you in character now?
She was piling on. She was needling.
Yeah, it was too much.
Because there was a specific turning point, especially for you, where we were like, yeah, and then it was like, well, and then it was like, and I also sort of wish it, like, if that was the issue, I almost sort of wish maybe Cornbread had taken her aside.
Yeah, no, they did it in front of everybody the whole time.
Well, because the group felt that way. Because also, I mean, I think that there's other ways, because, again, I think it was Daya Betty, but there's a handful of times where Jasmine's a little bit running off at the mouth, and Daya will just be looking at her and just be like,
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Or like, she said, it was like, okay, but it was
at the end of
we laughed out loud.
At the end of Untucked, Daya Betty just goes, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. And it was very sort of like, it doesn't, not everything has to be quite as direct. I don't know.
If literally anybody looked at me with the face that was on Daya Betty's face and just went, yeah, I think I would wither and die. It was so solid.
So anyways, it was Night of 1,000 JLos. I was underwhelmed.
Really?
Yes. And
okay.
I seem to be in the minority, because I looked on Twitter and people were raving. I guess there were like 3 of these looks that I knew.
Okay,
and I don't think that's telling on myself, because I am a Jennifer Lopez fan. But there were just so many, like, I wanted that, like, dusty blue Oscar dress, or the mint green Oscar dress, or The Cell, or Enough.
The Cell would have been
or
good.
Made in Manhattan.
There's not really anything from Enough that would.
I don't know.
She's wearing like
ugly hair,
jeans the whole time.
No, but I'm saying that they're like, a lot of it was like red carpet looks, and on top of that, it was ones that I was kind of like I wanted that, like. There was no I'm Real Juicy Couture. There was no Waiting for Tonight. There was no If You Had My Love. There was no, and that's
Waiting
sort of what I was anticipating.
Yeah.
Like I even said, I thought Carrie Colby, I was like, she ought to do Hustlers. Like spangly string bodysuit with the fur coat.
Yeah.
Or Jennifer Lopez did a cover of Rolling Stone in a metal bikini with like a leopard and stuff that it felt, I don't know. I was really kind of underwhelmed by a lot of. There were like 3 on. Sorry, I know I'm rambling.
No, you're good.
But there were like 3 looks on here that if I didn't know the theme was Jennifer Lopez,
I wouldn't have known. So,
no, I would. I would have recognized like 3.
Only of them. Yeah. So I didn't recognize very many of them either, but I liked that. I liked seeing ones I hadn't seen before. The one where I disagree with the judges is that they were all about Deja's like take on the look, and
I think it looked cheap.
I thought it looked cheap. I thought it didn't look as good. It was definitely a take, whereas everybody else sort of did like a 1-for-1. But I don't know. It was that one was not it for me. The rest of them I thought were pretty great, and I loved especially Willow Pill's explanation.
But also that was so deep, like because it's one thing to do like a deep cut, but like I mean, Michelle said she was like, to pull out 1998 Jennifer Lopez,
and then to have picked it because it's a little ugly, so funny. Willow remains my girl.
So I really, at this point in the game, 4 episodes in, it's Willow and Angeria.
Yeah.
I think they're neck and neck because
okay, where does Angeria get off
that's
saying she can't act?
Well, she said she learned yesterday.
No. But even last week, going down the runway a couple of times, she was like doing acting in her runway stuff. This was maybe the first time she was like filmed acting, but
she was so funny in all of her stuff. And that second, it was Maddie's group. There was so much to choose from because I loved it was Deja and I don't remember who.
It was Deja and...
No, it was Diabetti and I don't remember the other one.
Okay.
But when they were trying to hold Angie back and they both had like
one boob,
one hand on each breast, and they kept like it was really funny. Angie and Deja, their chemistry was so funny together, and they had like 5 different parts where they had chemistry.
Oh, the one where oh my god, so Deja did amazing in the skit, in the
nip slip, the cow, but
the oh my god, the like when I was born, I was so young or whatever, and then it just keeps going.
I couldn't speak
walk.
for 2 years. I didn't know how to walk. There were times I would wake up and I was just covered in shit.
My pants.
It was so funny. And that's because when Rachel was working, she came home when this was over, and I was like, this episode was funny. I was like, they did skits that were like real world funny.
So funny.
Like not just within the context of a Drag Race episode.
Yeah.
And even just like I loved all of their like insane.
They're like half
their kabuki
makeup,
Drag Race makeup.
Kabuki drag, that's
and
good.
Because I actually was a little bummed. I wanted Maddie to stand out a little bit more, but sometimes, and they definitely. Yeah. Sometimes fitting in is standing out.
Well, also sometimes being a good captain means helping everyone else shine. And also Maddie was safe. So
because she had a couple of reactions that were really good.
I need Maddie to get through. So I keep saying episode 5, but that's next week. I think 5 eliminations. I need Maddie to get through 5 eliminations, and then I'll be fine. I still think,
and frankly,
Maddie's good too.
I don't know that her Jennifer Lopez look. I don't know that if I saw that look without context, I would have said. But I recognized it from the inauguration.
It had the energy of Jennifer Lopez.
Well, because another one, Lady Camden's had the energy of a Jennifer Lopez look without me remembering it specifically.
Yeah. I need Maddie to stop wearing pants. I need more gowns, dresses, whatever for Maddie, because if she does it one more time, Michelle's going to say something and it's going to be a big problem. But they also all the queens were like, your face looks amazing. So I think she got some tips and started doing a little, because it did look better than last week. So
we get down to it, and it's Alyssa Hunter, Carrie Colby, and was Cornbread the third one that was sort of in the bottom? Cornbread seems, because I also think this was part of the issue. Cornbread's issue with Jasmine was Cornbread is sort of in real time. Yes. Realizing that she has
some hangups,
that she has, trauma that she hasn't worked through. Yeah. But I think it's important because she thought she had. Yeah. She really thought she had. And then, because like the second episode or something, other people were talking and she wasn't even part of the conversation, and she like had to remove herself because she was like, it was triggering me in a way that I wasn't prepared. And so I think that's a factor too. And I would hope that this was sort of a breakthrough for her, in as much as you can have a breakthrough in one day on a reality show.
Sure. But it did seem like she sort of got somewhere, because Lonnie Love was like, you're better than relying on food jokes.
So true.
Which is true, because like that's why Cornbread was such a front runner for us.
And frankly, she did them well. It's obvious, but she did it well, especially once it was edited.
Once it was edited, yes.
But to come from Lonnie, I think that was such good advice. I actually like Lonnie Love, but B, I think she's good on this show. Yeah. The judges panel was in rare form.
Yeah, although they swapped off who got the coffee enema this week. And it was Michelle.
No, but they all looked really good, especially Michelle and Rue's makeup. This is a top tier RuPaul look for me.
Oh my god!
It was, she looked like a Valkyrie.
It's up with that strawberry lemonade one from last All Stars.
The frosty pink and yellow. No, this was an exceptional look for me from Rue, and again the makeup, because there was like blue in like
it was like the
fringe.
underside of the gold fringe was almost blue,
and bringing the blue into the eyeshadow. And she's done this a handful of times with the gold headband that almost looks like an 80s workout. It's I every time they cut back to Ru, I kept finding new things to look at.
Incredible.
And Michelle's makeup was really just, I don't know, it was very good, but I was disappointed with Carrie.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't know how I feel about this, because if you have the dress, are you not gonna bring it?
No,
like, are you not gonna stunt on people? But furthermore, I'm curious how she got it. I'm curious if, and not in a shady way.
It's not the original real dress.
Well,
it's like the revamp real dress.
It's the 2019 one.
Yeah.
Because it was the 20th anniversary, and she walked in the runway in that one, because a lot of people kept incorrectly quote, because the real one has sleeves.
Yeah.
There were no sleeves on that one. And it doesn't come in on the sides like that. And because she also wore that one on Saturday Night Live. And so
that's right,
I'm curious where it came from, if she had borrowed it, or because she even said when they were lip syncing, she was like, "Oh, I can't
move,
damage this."
Yeah.
And so it's just like, as someone who owns a piece of memorabilia myself,
at some point we have to put Mavis over here in the Van Helsing thing.
It's not nearly as good.
We keep talking about it.
I have if you've seen Van Helsing, the pink vampire bride dress, I have that dress, the actual one from the movie. And so it's like, I definitely get wanting to flex on that way, but it's kind of cheating.
Yes, I kind of think it's cheating.
And B, especially to not hit a home run.
Yes, because you could see her panties. I cannot believe Michelle did not say something about being, or Ru, about being able to see the undergarments, because they weren't even like nude, flesh colored.
Well, we're having a flesh colored issue.
We are having a huge flesh colored issue.
Maybe it's, so we also, we noticed that, I don't know how this works, but basically we're able to see this season in HD.
Yeah.
And All-Star 6 was HD, but I don't think
no, season 13 was not.
So somewhere in its transition, and then also the Hulu TV of it all, I don't know. But we're now watching a show in HD, so I don't know if maybe some of this we wouldn't have been noticing.
I think I would have seen that flash of white panties. That's all I'm saying. I like that. That is something that they have dinged people so hard for before.
The wig was bad.
And the wig was not amazing.
And I was like, oh.
In that case, I do wish that we just like had not had that dress, because what's the point of that dress if it's, you're not even totally wearing it correctly, and B, then it hinders you from doing a good lip sync.
Because it's like,
because she did not win that lip sync. Sorry.
Well. She also had a little bit of a wake up call that I think would do her, and we dealt with this a little bit last year with Gottmik. Well, we deal with it with a lot of the queens in general, and especially, I mean, this is no secret, she came in the trans flag. We know she's a trans woman.
Yep.
I totally can understand the impulse to avoid looking ugly, to avoid looking bad.
Yeah.
And Michelle was like, "You cannot be afraid of that." But we all know she's beautiful.
Yeah.
There's no amount of making faces in a skit that can undo that.
Yeah.
And so I think if she maybe, because she's definitely not uptight.
No.
But I think if she maybe figured out how to, and also, and several of them made this critique, and I agree with it. It is a cardinal hurdle every time. The peaks and valleys comment.
Yeah.
When acting, you have to. You can't do all one thing all the time.
Yeah, you can't, because they made that about Alyssa and Cornbread. You just immediately go to an 11 and stay there, and like that's not funny. You have to come down and go back up, and come down and go back up.
You need because Willow thinking she was on what was the Bitchler?
The Bitchler.
and it just kept going and going and going.
Jeffrey?
and Michelle's like, look under the table. Look under the table.
So good.
I thought some of the looks, for me personally, I thought they left something to be desired. Because also, I mean, even with Willow, and it's not, or not Willow, Carrie, I guess it's not that I thought she should have been doing a carbon copy of either Versace dress, but it's like, I mean, she's wearing a bump it in the 1999 version. It's like, that's so easily.
That's my thing, is if you're going to wear the actual dress, do the actual thing. Like, go for it. Mm-hmm. And it just was like sort of half-assed, in my opinion.
I'm trying to remember. Oh, Georges faded a little bit in this episode. Mm-hmm. I remember from them walking in, a lot of them recognized her from Instagram, and so that gives me look queen vibes. Yeah. And she was She's got a
lot of personality, though.
Yeah, but she was very intimidated. I feel like the implication that gave me is that a lot of her drag, she's taking pictures. Sure. She's dressing up, taking a picture, and then and I think that because she got by, she was safe this week, and I think she was a little bit smart she did the one or two things she needed to, and she got some good reactions. Yeah. But she sort of slid under by, and I think that's smart. And also her look was actually one of the ones that I did like a little bit more. Although it was just giving me Eva Longoria. She just looked like Eva. I mean, part of that's the like.
She's so tiny. Yeah.
But because Angeria, that I recognized that from the Met Gala. That was so good.
I don't know. I was pleased with the looks because I didn't recognize.
I'll give you that. I will give you that. But I think.
And then was it Jasmine that wore the like pink kind of ombre one?
Well, it was a 2-piece.
With the pink with the.
I'm sorry.
Diabetti wore the pink and black. Mm-hmm. It was the sleeves and the ombre beading, the like pink.
Yes. I'm sorry. No, Orion.
Was it Orion?
Orion.
Because I don't think you're right.
Yeah, it's Orion Star that wore I don't remember about ombre, but it had the beading.
No.
Like coral.
That was beautiful. Not that.
Okay.
I think I'm talking about Jasmine. That was it's like a Dior dress, like a cocktail dress. Still nothing? I don't know how to even search this. This. Are you literally like someone wore that?
That was on this TV screen?
It's stunning. It is 100% my vibe for clothes. And I'm pretty sure it was Jasmine wore it. I love it.
Hold on. I don't remember that at all. I feel a little bit...
You just were like, hard no.
I mean, I see Jasmine wearing it now.
It was Jasmine?
Yeah, okay. I retained none of that.
Okay, yeah, no, I loved it. I thought it was great.
I mean, I like Jasmine, but I think that there's something not resonating.
No, there's 100%. I'm not saying that it was my favorite. Well, it was my favorite look of the night, but it's only because that dress is so...
You just like the dress.
It's so my vibe, the dress specifically. I think Willow's was my favorite just because of the reason behind it and like how deep of a cut it was. It was
great. I literally remember every one of these except for that one. Oh, Bosco. So the gold.
That was okay.
The gold one, but I like Bosco a lot, but it has a very particular drape in the front that she just didn't do, and I'm like, that's literally
the thing.
The dress. Like that drape. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The tits were crazy. They were super crazy.
They were too disconnected.
Well, it was like tennis balls.
Yeah.
It was just like tennis balls. I do kind of like Bosco.
I like Bosco a lot. There's
a disconnect for me with Bosco.
Sure. I know who they all are now, and I can recognize all of them except for Bosco. I cannot make that person
into the queen.
Into the drag. Yeah. I cannot. It is like to the opposite sides of a magnet.
Every time I
cannot see it.
Curly yellow blonde hair.
I can't see it. Is this bitch? Every single one of the other ones I can. Yeah, the Willow Pill. I think it was just such a take.
And she got to go first, which helped, I think, too. I'm obsessed that you didn't even remember that dress.
Even now, I'm sort of like, it's like face blindness. Was she wearing that in Untucked?
Yeah.
Where was she sitting in Untucked?
in one of the chairs. She was
behind.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's also got. Okay, I remember there being a pink blob.
Yeah.
right.
Because she's also just got a top knot. It's not like
okay,
like,
okay, yeah, because they were talking. Because there was the back and forth with Cornbread, and Cornbread was triggered. Cornbread had Jasmine was on her last nerve because Jasmine literally was like, she said it was very sort of like, do you mind if I ask who you thought should go home or something? Like, she phrased it.
Oh, because she was like, well, Cornbread was like, I don't think I deserve to be in the bottom, but I think I know I am in the bottom. And Jasmine was like, well, do you mind if I ask who you think should be there instead? I thought it was phrased and presented very gently and just like a conversational topic. And she was like, it's not about that. And I was
was like, that's not what I said. And but to Jasmine's credit, Jasmine went and sat back like, down. Okay, so she seems to have heard. Yeah. And I anticipate...
She also was not the only one who was like, yeah, I'd like to know who you think should be in the bottom, too.
I anticipate... That's always such a dangerous game to play, in my opinion. Yeah. But I anticipate a heart-to-heart between Jasmine and Cornbread next week.
Sure.
I think we'll see them outside. Do they still go outside the workroom? They used to go outside the workroom. Nobody smokes anymore, so I don't know.
It was like the candy and...
But no, I anticipate them burying this.
Yeah.
20 minutes into next week's episode.
I hope so. I really hope so.
Because neither of them. I mean, I could definitely see Jasmine getting a villain edit, but I
don't think there's enough there for a villain.
She seems too receptive.
Yeah,
and frankly, she's the kind of person that I think it would genuinely bum her out if people didn't like her.
Yeah,
like I think she would learn how to.
Oh yeah.
Versus so. Is there anything else that we wanted to talk about specifically? They danced to play. Lip sync to play. We didn't talk a lot about Alyssa. I don't feel strongly. He was cute.
I'm a little sad. I think given the comments that they all got, I think Carrie should have gone home this week based on comments. Or Rue should have pulled a move and kept them both. Because I
almost thought Rue was going to send both of them home.
Or that. I don't know.
Not that I want to get rid of Carrie, but I'm trying to do the thing like we did in All Stars 6 with Scarlett, where it's like I want to see Scarlett envy's runways more than Alyssa has been fine.
Yeah.
But I think I'm more interested in what Carrie has.
I don't know.
You don't
Alyssa
know.
held up a red thing.
She held up and also I liked her story.
Yeah.
We got that background that her dad's gay too.
And they like came out to each other.
That's good. That's some good
TV.
Good reality TV.
So I don't know. I kind of hoped Rue would save them both. If we were gonna keep Carrie, I kind of hoped we could keep both just because I didn't feel done with Alyssa yet. And
okay.
I feel like it was kind of like she mentioned it. That it could possibly be a little bit of a language barrier that she was like, the comedy wasn't hitting right. But I think the thing is like Carrie and Alyssa and Cornbread, all three got the same note, which was basically like, we need to see more sides of you. They just, Rue picked a different adjective for all three of them. Mm-hmm. And so.
Because we said Alyssa started to crack when she realized she was in the bottom.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things that I think Rue is so good at is because Rue was very much, it was like no, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
We're not doing this here and now.
Yeah.
You will compose yourself.
Yeah.
And Rue can do the hard part of this job.
Absolutely.
Really well.
Yeah, she's good at it.
That is all I remember. That's all I'm bringing for right now.
Yeah.
So we hope you enjoyed, and hopefully we'll see you next week. And let us know what you think. Who's your
top queen? What do you think?
I think it's a good group.
I agree.
I also think it's kind of like we said, Willow and Angeria, I think are just, whew, but other than that, it's a relatively even keeled.
Yeah. The rest of that, like if you take Willow and Angeria out of the equation, it's kind of anybody's game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited.
So, all right. Like and subscribe, patronize.
Yep.
Thank you for our current patronizers. We couldn't do anything if we weren't being patronized.
That's true.
So.
We are like Tinkerbell. Need applause to live. And we're like Lady Gaga. We live for the applause.
APPLEASU A.
None of that is right.
APPLAUSE. There we go. BANANAS.
Okay, bye.